Hi guys, it's Miko Martinez, and in this video, I'm going to explain to you the two key factors that you need to consider before investing in SEO so you don't waste your time and resources. If you don't know who I am a Shopify SEO expert. I've been in the SEO industry for over 6 years now. I've worked on over 200 plus projects, and I've helped scale some of them to over 7 figures in annual revenue. So let's get to the video. So what are the two key factors that you need to consider before investing in SEO? So number one, the first one is your brand even a good fit for SEO? A lot of e-commerce brand owners assume that they need SEO, but the thing about SEO is that it's actually not a good investment for most e-commerce brands. I get on a lot of calls with e-commerce brand owners, and I turn down over 90% of them. And the reason is because SEO is not a good fit for most e-commerce brands. We look for, brands that have two things. Number one, we look for brands with a diverse product line, right? Because, for example, if you have just 5 products, then you don't have a lot of keywords to target. If you don't have a lot of keywords to target, then how can you drive a lot of traffic via SEO, right? And number two, we look for brands that have a higher average order value or a higher ticket price, because, well, if you have a $20 product and you can't drive a lot of traffic, how are you supposed to get an ROI on SEO? Right? If you have a $500 product or like a higher ticket product, it doesn't take that much traffic to get a good ROI from SEO. So those are two things that we consider. And it's not like a hard rule. It's not a deal breaker if they have a low average order value, because like a low average order value, you can still work with that if the keywords you're targeting is, like has tons of traffic, has tons of search volume, right? Because yeah, then you can drive a ton of traffic and you can still get a good ROI. But those are just two things that we need to look at, to determine whether a brand's actually a good fit for SEO. To drive this even further, I'm going to show you a few examples of, brands that we've actually worked with in the past and brands that reached out to us for SEO, and basically why they weren't like a great fit for SEO. This first brand is Fresh Monster. So Fresh Monster is actually a brand that we worked with last year. You can see here, we started working with them in September, and we worked with them for, I think, 3 to 4 months. And you can see that, after we stopped working with them, their traffic still continued to increase. And that just shows the long-term aspect of SEO. SEO can take time. You can spend 4 months working on a project, and the results of that work actually come in the months after. So you can see Fresh Monster, they have a few SKUs. They have less than 10 SKUs. They have hair chalk for kids, deodorant for kids, sunscreen for kids, etc., etc. So they have less than 10 SKUs. This was a brand that we worked with last year. We worked with them on a lower budget because we saw that this is probably an easier campaign, and we did pretty well. Like if you look at the search traffic, the rankings, we got them to rank for deodorant for kids, kids deodorant, best deodorant for kids, hair chalk for kids, sunscreen for kids, natural sunscreen for kids, things like that. So we did a pretty good job. The thing here is that, again, we were at the edge of whether understanding whether they were actually a good fit for SEO. Yes, they still got a positive ROI on that SEO campaign. We still added 4 figures in revenue, monthly revenue for the brand, but because of the limited number of SKUs, as you can see here, they have less than 10 SKUs. It was difficult to, find keywords to target, right? And after we found the keywords to target, there was a question of, okay, what's next? Like what else can we target? And that's really like, a question you need to ask yourself. Like, if there aren't many keywords to target, can you get a positive ROI? And, maybe if you don't work with an agency, maybe if you do the SEO yourself and you're just, spending your own time and resources, maybe you can get a positive ROI with SEO. But that's something you need to consider, right? Because if a brand like this can drive over 10,000 visitors a month with SEO and still get an okay ROI, you need to consider whether your brand can get that same ROI, right? Another thing that was tricky also is actually, the second thing is that the deodorants are $13. So the average order value, well, they usually buy like this 3. So the average order value was below $30. So even when you're driving like a decent amount of traffic, like, yeah, it's still difficult to get a positive ROI with SEO when, yeah, again, there's limited keywords you can target and your average order value is low. So that's just something to consider. Here are a few more examples to really, explain this point even further. These are going to be brands that have booked a call with us recently, and they were interested in investing in SEO, but we told them that SEO wasn't a good fit for their brand, right? So this first one is Cat Amazing. They do really well on social and on Amazon. But when it came to SEO, they have, I think, like 5 or 6 SKUs. Yeah. And, when I looked at this page, like this website, I just thought like, okay, they sell cat toys, but like it's very niche, right? Like I wouldn't know what keywords someone would have to search or type in to find these very specific cat toys. So that's another thing that you need to consider. Like, what keywords are you going to target, right? Like, what keywords can you target? And yeah, I told the prospect or the e-commerce brand owner who's interested in investing in SEO that, if you work with us, it's going to be difficult to get an ROI because of the limited number of SKUs you have. And it's just also because your products are very niche. Like, I can't think of what keywords you can target or rank for to get a positive ROI with SEO. So the next one is Bonnie's Jam. So they sell jams, right? So they have, I think it was 15 different flavors. And yeah, I guess you can target red pepper jelly jam, black and blue jam, peach ginger jam. And there isn't much search volume. And even if you captured, or if you rank number one for every single one of these flavors, the average order value is not going to be that high. Each of these jams are just $10 each. So again, like, yeah, we basically identified that this brand is not a good fit for SEO. And that's what we told the potential client. And this last one, Clean the Toilet Seats. They only sell toilet seats and they have 2 SKUs, commercial and home. So as you can imagine, there isn't much keywords to target. You can only target toilet seat keywords, which may be difficult to rank, right? So we also, just came to the conclusion that this brand is not a good fit for SEO, right? So that's the first factor. You have to determine whether your brand is even a good fit for SEO, because if it's not a good fit for SEO and start going on this SEO journey, investing in technical SEO audit, content, backlinks, etc., and then you do end up ranking for your keywords, but then you find that there isn't a significant amount of search volume, for your niche, right? And yeah, you won't get a good ROI. So that's the first thing you need to consider. The second thing you need to consider is, can you compete, right? So if you've determined that your brand is a good fit for SEO and that SEO can be a lucrative channel for your brand, you need to determine whether you can actually compete for your target keywords, right? Because certain keywords are going to be more difficult than others. And it always comes down to, the playbook, right? Technical SEO, on-page SEO, off-page SEO. So when it comes to technical SEO, it's pretty much just a checklist, right? A checklist of mistakes that you shouldn't be making. Checklist to just basically ensure that it's easy for the search engines to access, understand, and index your site, right? And if you want to learn more about technical SEO, we have a free training. It's available in our school community. So if you want access to that, just join our free school community. Because when it comes to technical SEO, it's basically just a checklist. You can get that done in maximum a week, right? So this is not even something you can really it's not like, can I do it or not? It's like, yeah, you just do it, right? So when it comes to competing, right, competition, it really comes down to content and backlinks, right? And determining the gap between you and your competition. Because you're just investing or you're just considering investing in SEO, you probably don't have a lot of content and backlinks, right? You may have some content, you may have attracted some backlinks naturally, but if your competition has invested in SEO, then they're going to have way more content and way more backlinks. And your goal, in order for you to outrank them, you need to fill that gap, right? You need to publish more content, you need to build more backlinks. And therefore, you need to determine whether you have the budget to fill that gap. Like, for example, if your competition has 200 pages, let's go with the example of like a curtain shop, right? Like if they have 200 pages about blackout curtains, valance curtains, etc., and they have blog posts, product pages, shopping pages, and you have 50, then the content gap is at least 150 pages, right? You need to basically cover that gap. If you don't cover that gap, it's unrealistic to think that you'll outrank them. Like, why would the search engine prefer your brand over their brand, right? And the same thing with backlinks. Like, you want to look at your backlink profile and the backlink profile of who's currently ranking number 1, 2, 3, and to determine how many quality backlinks they have, right? Like if the brand ranking in number 1 has 200 quality backlinks and you have 50 quality backlinks, it's unrealistic to think that you will outrank them unless you fill that gap as well. So, and to fill that gap, as you can imagine, will take some time and resources. So you need to determine whether it's worth spending that time and resources to fill that gap. And if it is, right, based on your, the potential traffic, your, your average order value, the potential revenue you can make from outranking your competitors, right? If you determine that it is worth your time and resources, whether you're doing it yourself or you're planning to work with an agency, then then you should invest in SEO, right? But it's important to, to determine or decide to compete, because when you go on that SEO journey, it does take time, right? For the first 3 months, you probably won't see significant results unless you're a really established brand. So you need to make these two key decisions before you decide to invest in SEO. So that's it for now. I hope this was helpful. If you want to learn more about, how to actually execute this playbook and what it means to actually fill those gaps, again, like join the School community. We basically have a full course on there about Shopify SEO. As you can see here, it's a full course going over every single step here: technical SEO, site speed optimization, even on-page SEO. We have like keyword research, navigation, site structure, shopping pages, blogging, everything, right? So if you want to learn about the whole process, then join that School community. And if you don't want to have to do this yourself, if you're an e-commerce brand doing at least $30,000 a month in revenue, then you can book a call with me. If you book a call with me, there's no obligation to work with us. So at the very least, you get a free SEO consultation and an action plan that you can implement on your own. So that's it for now. I hope this was helpful. Thanks for listening. Cheers.